and welcome to tonight's episode of Talking with Famous People. My name is host Eric, and I am the host of Talking with Famous People. And tonight, I was going to title this stream briefly. I was going to title it Assorted Thoughts. And I realized, Eric, you are dramatically underselling what you're offering here. You're not offering assorted thoughts, you're offering assorted miracles. But before the miracles can begin, let me retie my pants strings. You don't want my modesty pants to suddenly fall down. So, it's a Friday night. I'm feeling philosophical, thinking about a variety of topics. But perhaps the topic that most is occupying my attention at the moment is my own insecurities and how much harm Kimberly did to me. Because she really, launched a steady assault on my masculinity, on my sexual being. Yeah. And I did the same. I dealt with it the same way I try to deal with everything. Objectively, I compared realities to the words I was being told, and I guess concluded that to discount her very clear depiction of me as terrible at having sex and probably the worst person she'd ever had. And there wasn't even really any probably to it. It's like any sane, normal person, one assumes, hi, beautiful. One assumes that somebody telling you suck at something you're already insecure at. Any kind of objective calculus is gonna say, well, there's got to be at least more than a little truth to this. I'm trying to process that in a way that it's a little bit less objective, maybe, I was thinking of analogies, and that helped me kind of realize just how Kimberly's words didn't really mean anything. It's like if you think about sex as food, where one party's the chef and the other party's the consumer, well, that's not an accurate analog because it's a two-person endeavor. If you think about sex as being something that somebody's good at in general, what you're saying is they can have sex with a lot of different women and all the women will report back A plus or something like that. Except for lots of people, including me and Rachel, um, if you're having sex with lots of different people and you have sex with me, the only takeaway from it is like, well, I don't know how it is for Rachel or women in general, but for a meaning making person like me, the experience doesn't stick around in my memory very much. It's not very significant in what it says, but lots of meanings around it stick around for forever. So, so it's like I think we do all of us a disservice when we think of it really being possible to be good or bad at sex. It implies there's a universal standard rather than that each time you have sex is its own unique experience, even if it's very similar to the last time, you know. Sometimes Rachel and I have better sex, sometimes not as good. Usually linked to just how horny I am, really. But it's like, I'm reminded of that Johnny song. And this is so deeply ingrained in so many males, right? The beginning of this song, there it goes. He, he's better than me because because I'm not like other guys. I'm worse. Because, he's better than me. And oh my god, it fucking hurts because I'm not like other guys. I'm worse. That sentiment is at the core of every beta male's insecurity. In other words, every intuitive's insecurities about sex. Every male intuitive, well, forget ENFJs, the ENTJs, but it's like I was researching this morning. Why am I jealous of my wife's past relationships? And we actually have a term for it. It's called retroactive jealousy. And I guess not much to my surprise, it turns out that, you know, it's always all you and never anything else. You know, it's like, oh, so I'm just insecure. Okay, well, I'm gradually becoming sufficiently less insecure that I can deal with that reality. But also, it was sort of a reminder of how I am stuck being objective no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter that I know Kimberly was just being hurtful on purpose because of her BPD. If what she said, if any hurtful thing she said, I nevertheless evaluate it on its merits, not based on the intentionality of the person saying it, you know? So it wasn't just stuff she said. She had a really toxic way of engaging with me sexually. Like, you know, I'd want to have sex, and then she'd basically reveal like how little she wanted that and kind of just stab me emotionally until I was kind of like broke down. And she's like, all right, fine. It was fucking as toxic as anything could possibly be. And it was toxic in exclusively one direction. So I haven't thought about that much the last 4 years. I've been with Rachel. We're happy. We love each other. We're good to each other. But as I talked about a little bit this morning in the live stream, you can't process abuse by internalizing its messages. And it's time for me to start letting go of some of those persistent self-limiting narratives, I guess, or self-hating narratives, really, more than anything else. I know, Rachel. As I was explaining before, it's not that I want you to say this. In general, when I talk about these sort of subjects, it's best to remain silent. But what I want is not for you to affirm the quality of our sex. What I want is something stupid, impossible, ridiculous, and nonsense. I want to be better than everybody else you've ever been with at having sex, which is, it's like, it's not a thing you can be good at, really. You know? It's not like music and art and even food, in which things are objectively better or worse, because it's just, it's a totally different thing, you know, when you're with one partner or another. And like, how good the sex is always has as much to do with you as it does with the partner, and as much to do with the partner as it does with you. So, you know, that's just what I'm processing. It was a weird confluence of things, starting with the Barbie movie. Um, Other things that really made me start thinking about how insecure I am and why. Why be so insecure? Um, Sex isn't a push up contest. Well, I know, but I have unreasonable expectations for myself. I expect myself not just to be better at all intellectual thinking, art, and other important things that matter than an ESFP. I expect myself to be better at sex than him too. So, like I said, the problem there is this notion of better or worse at sex. I'm not sure it's entirely. I can't objectively say that it's entirely without merit, and I have to objectively say that obviously, I just don't put that much emphasis on fucking. So if it's not the center of your universe, you're not going to be as good at it as somebody who it is the center of their universe. We don't need a romantic night away. We're not having any problems, Gwen says, Mom. What I am doing right now is reflecting on my own insecurities um and the real most powerful source of them, which was 2 years with Kimberly. No, I'm not worried about that either. Okay, I'm not worried about anything. I'm not looking for a solution. I'm I am creating the solution right now by facing fearlessly the realities of, it's like I said before on the stream this morning. I've got tons of insecurities, and they're all sex. um, so, uh, you know, it's like it's one of those things that I've always been transparent and meow about just about everything, but talking about being insecure about sex is not something I've typically felt was. I guess I just didn't feel secure enough to talk about that insecurity, and so growing into being able to talk about that and be kind of realistic about it and such is how actual growth happens over time. It's like you get traumatized, it does only damage. But growth is moving beyond that damage, processing it correctly so that it's no longer dragging you down. And Rachel and I have kind of either steadfastly or naturally just not really talked a lot about our pasts. It's obviously not generally good form to talk about past partners with a new partner. Beyond just sort of like, let me know all the important specs. Um, how many long-term relationships have you been married, things like that. And accordingly, because we didn't really talk about it at all, and also because we had so much shit going on that was of more significant emotional risk than some holdover insecurity, you know. We just never. Well, we just needed to get to a place where we were both safe and recovered and confident of our ongoing safety. I mean, safe emotionally. Boy, it's the first time I've heard that since I've been here. A car alarm going off. We just try to put our best foot forward as best we could in this relationship. And that meant not worrying about what happened before very much. But, in a lot of ways, both of our best feet forwards have been taking little tiny half steps because what life teaches us all eventually is that it is dangerous to trust people. And the more central that person is to your life, the more dangerous it is to trust them. Rachel and I don't need to worry about each other being not trustworthy. But we still want to err on the side of caution. Rachel, even more than me, wants to make sure she doesn't say anything that triggers me or something. But the priority is that she feels safe to express herself about whatever she wants to express herself about. Not that she has to be policing her language because I might feel bad or something. So, it's just what I've been thinking about this evening. Thinking about it enough that, oh good, you found a Neil Gaiman video. Fantastic. That's always a good thing to link to. Right. Well, intrusive thoughts, intrusive memories and stuff, that affects everyone to some extent. Probably least so SI Tool because they're always using memories for certain things. But my traditional approach to dealing with intrusive thoughts is think about something else, which never lets you actually process anything so that it ceases to be intrusive. Yes, I appreciate Neil. So, like I said, it was just sort of timing plus a couple random things happening that triggered this cascade of introspection on my part. But it also makes me realize just how still extremely cautious Rachel is. And the reason for that is it's scary to trust somebody when they're as important to you as I am to her and she is to me. No matter how absolutely zero reason you have to question the trust you put into that person. Like, Rachel doesn't want to mess up or get in trouble still or something like that. I tell her, you are free. You can accidentally or for whatever reason make me feel bad with things that are important for you to express. And that's always going to be my fault, not yours. Also, it's probably the first step to processing some bullshit that shouldn't be feeling bad about anyway, Well, I also love the Discworld series. Actually, I believe I love the Ringworld series, but it might have been called Discworld. I can't remember. Um. Well, thanks, Aries Flare 09. Yeah, this isn't, I guess, like a good example of a regular Eric live stream in the sense that I'm talking about FI stuff, and I'm not just failing to talk about FI stuff or falling victim to the idea that I lost my train of thought. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, normally if I'm talking about FI, I shut down my ability to talk. I can't really think it through. But I've been kind of musing about this all day. I read some stuff about the subject, about retroactive jealousy, as they call it. So, that's the key thing for me. I think is I don't like having the shame shivers every time I think about memory mia. But I think basically my approach to dealing with those kind of intrusive thoughts has always been the wrong one, which is to say, that I'm so embarrassed. I don't want to hear that. I can't think of that. I need to think of something else. Yeah. But that's probably just making the thing continue to do what it's doing. It's being intrusive and coming up in your head because you need to deal with it. This is not in my wheelhouse, obviously, as an FI polar person. I'm having to remind myself this isn't a debate case. I don't need to be as rigorous in the negation of my own worth as a sexual person as I am in the affirmation of it. In fact, it's very ill advised to take my normal approach to things regarding this matter. Because I'm very good at my old job that I used to have. If I take that approach, well, I already can tell there's way too much ammunition to use against me in the pile of evidence here. So I'm pretty well served to just not spend my energy trying to be fair in critiquing myself. But not even trying to be, just engaging in my normal objective self-criticism. There are some things about which you probably shouldn't objectively criticize yourself. You know? Well, I mean, I think that the brain will keep thinking these thoughts until I allow it to think them out in full instead of suppressing it by trying to redirect my attention to something less painful or less shamey or whatever. This is actually not a particularly painful topic for me because I have a very happy, good, healthy sex life. And so I'm just coming to terms with my own irrational self standards, expectations, etc. It's like Taylor once said, never compare yourself to your own ideal. Compare yourself against the alternatives. the thing is, it's like, I think probably everybody who's not a bad boy, but who's a male, has some sort of resonance with this. There's this scene in the Barbie movie where the mom, the teen girl, and the Barbie lady are driving to try to escape from the Mattel Corporation. And the mom's driving really crazy, but very effectively like a race car driver. And the daughter says, "Well, where did you learn to drive like that, Mom?" And Mom said, "Well, there was this guy." And the girl says, "Was it Dad?" And the mom goes, yes, it was Dad." Then later they show the dad, right? So what's clear in scenes like that from movies is that there's this storyline that is told relatively often of women sort of living their best lives sexually and then settling down with somebody who they choose because of practical reasons, stability, boringness, but steadiness, right? I don't ever want to be that husband. No, cognitive functions have helped me understand this process a great deal. Like, I'm never thinking in my head, I never at all think to myself, boy, this other person compared preferably to Rachel in bed. Never has that ever crossed my mind. And I suspect that it's not something Rachel would think about at all if I didn't bring it up, as I'm bringing it up now. But even then, she probably has difficulty bringing back into her mind those experiences. Right. It's like, I think a lot of beta males like me, in other words, people who are long-term relationship people, don't find casual sex comfortable, easy, fun, or whatever, that there's a temptation to think of, or to fear, to imagine a world in which our current wife both gave herself sexually more completely to others than she ever will with you, and enjoyed herself sexually more completely with others than she ever will with you. And that's a decision she made to choose a good relationship partner over the most sexually satisfying partner available. And I think that's going to make a lot of men feel very unsafe, insecure, etc. That line of thinking, that storyline. Of course, I'm not sure how true that storyline is for how many people. It seems to be a very sensory concern at all to kind of keep track of like who your best sexual partners were or what your best sexual experiences were. To just try to archive that stuff, to have your own narratives about that, it seems to be a very sensory thing to do. I know I don't have those kind of narratives. Because sex is incredibly important in its meanings. Like, it's incredibly important that the wrong meanings don't emerge from it. But it doesn't matter at all. in any large scope of things. It's a necessary but insufficient condition to be in a good relationship, and one of multiple. And beyond its role in your relationship, it doesn't have anything to do with your identity. Like, I'm not good at sex or bad at sex. I'm Rachel's husband, the person we have sex with each other. There may be, like I said, censor women in the world. Well, definitely Kimberly was one such. Um, we made clear that she did keep track and that I ranked at the very bottom. Why we went out for 2 years? Well, that's a good question, everybody. That's a very good question. Anyway, um, I now recognize that as her trying to keep control of the situation. Like, she'd very much come up in the world by dating me. After all, I was the smartest person she'd ever dated or even met by a large margin, I'm sure. And the most vigorously interested in engaging in healthy relationship habits of anybody she'd ever met, I am sure. Because it's not like she had a history of happy relationships. But if you're BPD, that just makes you even more toxic because you have no self esteem. She didn't believe herself to really have any worth, but would never reveal any vulnerability because she was so convinced that, you know, um, it would be used against her. And so she tried to attack me and attack me and attack me until I displayed adequate vulnerability that she didn't have to feel vulnerable. I guess this is just a thought, an explanation that's coming to me now. But whatever her reasoning, I had never encountered anybody express anything like that level of hostility towards my sexual identity before. And I don't have any reason to believe that I should internalize any of that. It's like I remember one time I was in Shanghai and I was expressing some insecurity. I was talking to this other debate coach who didn't work for me. He was working for a competing school, but you know, the coaches didn't care about that. We were all cool with each other or whatever, you know. And he was a shorter guy, chubbier guy, you know, on the chubbier side, on the shorter side. And I was talking about my insecurities. I was, you know, wringing my hands about how I wasn't good enough in this way or that way or the other way. And he said, Eric, look at yourself. You're tall, thin, the director of the most successful private middle school debate program in America. So much so that you're expanding and opening new businesses here in Shanghai, traveling the world. You know, you've got a wife and a daughter at home. If you had been wise, he would have said, "You've got a beautiful and wonderful daughter." But I was like, oh, I never even thought about like that he might be insecure. Now that I'm thinking about it, I get what he's getting at there. I have a lot of natural physical advantages that give me nothing to be insecure about, you know? So, also, I am a hyper empowered black lesbian woman. So, being able to be both of those things was pretty good. Anyway, that's the problem with objective self criticism. If you are TI tool at bipolar, you engage, hopefully, much more effectively, I think, in ENTPs than in ESTPs, but some somewhat so in ESTPs as well. You engage unavoidably in objective self criticism, which means you're looking objectively at all the different ways you fail and fall short of various standards. You're having a hard time, if even a possible time, of fooling yourself as to where you land on those standards. But even if you land well on some standards, well, then those ones you don't even think about. Like, well, I'm tall, I'm I'm not overweight, you know. I'm not I don't have to worry about some things that men are often very insecure about. And and then it also makes me just realize that, like, can't really even like fucked with my self concept about things that are very empirically, objectively falsifiable. So it's like, what a horrible bitch. That's my message tonight. And I know Rachel's horrible fucking asshole was at least as bad. Although I don't think she endured it as long. But that's some F5 polar shit to take 2 years still just relentlessly approaching it the same way. It's getting worse and worse outcomes. I'm going to be objective about her and me. This is why what you were saying here is wrong and toxic and unhealthy in a relationship. When I could articulate something that I could give a very concrete, specific reason why it's toxic. You shouldn't say these specific words like "I hate you" or something, uh, and get others to agree with me. Then she'd stop engaging in that toxic behavior, usually for some stretch of time. For everything that could be interpreted as A critique to be judged on its merits, disregarding the intentionality or any kind of source indite, so to speak, the person saying it and why they're saying it. Discounting all those things, these things should all be evaluated on their merits. Every negative thing she says about me, whether it's about my character, my sexual ability, my trustworthiness, my you name it, right? I sucked in every possible way. And more specifically, I was worse than her previous partners in in at least some previous partner in most every conceivable way. And of course, I just evaluated those things on their merits. Well, if I were doing her work for her, could I make a strong case that this assaultive thing she's saying is justified by being true? No, Winston's mom. Sorry about it, this one. I gotta correct you on this one. N.I. intuitives write like Hemingway. Any intuitives write like Tolkien. Censors write like General MacArthur. Censors write like my dad or the books that he read. By and large, writing's not a censor's game. We have too much of an advantage over them. Now, granted, TE makes everything its game, you know. If you're TE Dom, you can force your untalented self to the pinnacle of your profession. And never know why. That's your goal. I'm not really somber, actually. I'm philosophical. I'm processing. Um, I'm processing some insecurity stuff that I now see as damaged, not yet fixed from Kimberly. And I think concurrently, Rachel's processing damage not yet fixed by Harris. Damage by Harris not yet fixed, you know. Harris is a composer, so he should get right on fixing things. And the old hysteric dies and withers from lack of penis. Well, if a Tiffany grew there, that would be okay. You know, Tiffany would slay. I imagine, like, if I were single and I had Tiffany for a penis, okay? So I'm going out with Judy for an evening night, and then take her home. We have sex. Next day, Judy's talking to her friend Sally. So anyway, then I pull down his pants, and guess what? What? He had this little baby doll instead of a regular penis. I said, "What? Like, did he get an operation or something?" He said, "No, he was born like that." So you just laughed? Actually, it was the best sex of my life. So, I know Tiffany would slay. Tiffany, Tiffany says things to Fishman like, that's his dick. Like, oh, get up, I just stop. I'm not done fucking you. She also likes to take baths with him. And in fact, one of the main reasons perhaps she's going out with him is that he breathes underwater. So you can put the dots together if you'd like. Well, listening to different content creators to learn things. Aries player is like going to the Blind Institute to learn about colors. And only everybody else but me is blind, okay? They're not going to have anything informative to teach you about colors. Everything they say about it, to the extent that even is partially right, is just going to be ultimately doing more harm than good because it's come from the wrong frame of reference. And you've got to prioritize also what sort of things are definitive and what sort of things are ancillary and why. Like, for example, I think socionics intertype is pretty reliable about certain intertype relations anyway. But let's say I had typed Joe as ISTJ and Bob as ESFP. And despite that, their relationship between those two didn't look like whatever intertype that is. That would not be a good reason to doubt my typing of either of those two types, because my typing of each type is much more definitive than a socionics intertype relation description can be, even though they're generally quite good descriptions for some of them and have surprising bits of insight. They aren't defensible because they aren't arguments, they're just descriptions. They're not mechanical at all. They're not doing anything other than, to the extent they are doing anything mechanical, in other words, explaining why it is that they're this way, then that's unreliable because their mechanics are wrong. And to the extent they're just describing something that your experience says or your intuition says is generally accurate, but not explaining why it's that way, well, then not explaining why it's that way in a way that you can test in any way, then it should never be prioritized over an explanation that can be tested and is defensible. It should never trump that, So, like, it shouldn't make me question my typings of people. If the inner type doesn't match up, for one reason, because, in a given instance, two individuals are dealing with each other in that instance, and it may or may not be representative of how they normally engage with one another. Meow. So that would be a, I don't know, example out of nowhere of the risk that one potentially uh, incurs, risk towards increased wrongness that one necessarily incurs when one seeks information from about typology from sources other than Eric. This makes it unlike everything else in the world. Everything else in the world is a perfectly reasonable and sensible heuristic to to read multiple sources about it and figure you'll be able to intuit, infer, determine which specific things are correct, line item veto style, and pull them together and piece together your own case accordingly out of the single correct pieces from these things, tossing away the rest. That's a perfectly great way to do things normally. That's what I did. But I had to fill in some gaps as well. And I had to put some very distant twos together. It took a long time. As a consequence, the question of typology has now been solved correctly by one person, but one place. Not just by me. Other people contributed to the work. I'm not obsessed with authorship here. I'm obsessed with the fact that this impossible reality is such that you've got God knows how many people talking out of their ass about MBTI, making sure that nobody takes it seriously, nobody smart takes it seriously, and then one dumb smart person, me, medium smart person, dumb to have even begun working on the subject, over years had multiple failed attempts to correctly explain it until it finally all came together. And it's definitely the exclusively correct explanation. Things that deviate from it, or at least things that are inconsistent with it, are wrong. It's very hard to convince anybody that that's the case because I can't come up with another example since, like, I can come up with past examples where one guy was right and everybody else was wrong, but not like this where everybody was talking about it in all these different ways and one guy was right and everyone else was wrong. Like the plate tectonics guy, he was right, everybody else was saying he was wrong. They were saying the earth was expanding. They weren't all coming up with a bunch of bullshit pseudo plate tectonics explanations that made everybody think plate tectonics must be dumb because it can't even be one thing. It's a billion different things because there's a billion different people's interpretation of what a plate means and what tectonics means. Yeah. It's a world in which there's one wrong explanation and then this right explanation, but this wrong explanation is super entrenched, seems to offer a lot more promise than a world in which there are shit tons of what do you call it? Of shades of bullshit that look very similar at a glance to the one actual rock. And this whole field of different shades of bullshit, there's one rock. All the other things that look like rocks are pieces of bullshit. There's a fly in here, and I don't like it. I don't like the fact everything Eric is saying is what you've been struggling with. Well, I'm glad it resonates with. I'm inferring from your statement that therefore it resonates with you, and I will assume that inference is adequate, and I will simply say, well, I'm glad it resonates with you. When you're TI tool, you correct yourself so much like that. You know, I didn't want to presume that it resonated with him. He didn't say that specifically, even though it's a reasonable inference to make from his initial claim. So, naturally, I corrected myself to make sure that everybody understood that I acknowledged that he did not say it resonated with him, merely that I inferred that. So I hope you're all pleased by that level of precision. That's why you can trust me, because you can see all the time instances of me saying something that's untrue, though completely irrelevantly so, and then correcting myself to be precise. I do it all the time. Okay, not all the time. All the time was just hyperbole there, okay? This instance is one of those instances, but all the time was just hyperbole, just to clarify. So, guess what Rachel and I got? In fact, I want to open them up. We're gonna, hi Isaiah's Gaming World more. Isaiah's Gaming World more than something? More impressive? I mean, normally I would expect to say something like Isaiah's Gaming World and more. Without the and, it becomes a much more curious name. I want to open these things. I need to get a knife. Not a knife, just a poker. Like this. Poker will be fine. I want to show the people these things.
Yeah, I'm
so,
too.
I don't know if you've heard of this before. Rachel had mentioned it before, but I had totally forgotten about it. But there's these decks. So yeah, each tarot card, the classic Rider-Waite tarot card, has a picture on it. Like on that one card, it says done. The person's walking away from all these cups. Well, somebody made a tarot deck that has the image of what happened just before the scene of that card. And then the other deck, they are regular size.
That's good. That's good.
Actually, on the smaller side. I think the proper size for a tarot deck is the rock and roll deck.
I do too.
Okay, so these ones, let's show you the picture of what happened before. And these ones will show you the picture of what happened after.
Luminex knows what you're talking about with these cards.
That's cool. So anyway, we got them. And we wondered how big the cards would be, because, like, what a big box for a deck of tarot cards. Yeah, it's a big faker box is what it is. Okay. Now, this is a fresh tarot deck. Okay. So, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think this card here is like an extra card or something.
Probably. Yeah.
So, what I think you should do now. Is this an extra card too?
Yeah.
And what about these ones are regular cards? Okay.
Yeah.
I think what you should do now, Rachel, is shuffle it up and pull a single card as the christener of the deck.
Okay.
It'll be the deck's christening card. I don't know what that tells you about a deck exactly. It's like, it's the deck's temperament, perhaps?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
One card to tell you the deck's temperament. Death. It'd be like the crayon black in that skit we watched today. This one also has some of these extra cards. So I'll just put them over here. There. Alright, so Rachel has which one is
I
yours?
think I have the
You have the
after.
I have the before. Let's see. What is the picture on the back the same or different? Okay.
It's in different colors.
So after is the cross and before is the flowers. That way we'll remember. After is the cross.
Wow, it's so nice to hold like a new deck in my hand.
Yeah, it's brand shiny new. This one, huh? Well, this deck, which is the before deck, look what its christening card is. The 3 of Hearts. But this is before the 3 of Hearts.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so it's like right before. So it's like kind of like a statement of what your heart is like before the 3 of Swords.
This is the 2.5 of Swords.
Yeah. So I just had...
What's this little black guy here doing? Is he the cause of the swords, do you think?
Maybe. Yeah, it's a blackbird. Or a crow.
I think it's like a little angel or something.
No,
it's a bird?
Crow. Yeah.
I'm going to have to put on my glasses. Oh, I see. It is a crow. I was misseeing its top wing as its head. A single crow is about to fly into your heart. 3 swords are about to stab your heart. But here's the thing. You still have time to jump out of the way. Your heart does. If it's a good jumper.
Okay. So that's
this is the christening card of the before deck.
Okay.
This is the 3 of Swords.
Christening card. Ooh.
The 7 of Swords. This is after the 7 of Swords where he gets caught. He's about to get caught. Wow. So this is about the escapability of heartache and the inescapability of defeat.
Yeah. Meow.
Meow. All right, so now let's use these cards to do another pull or 2, or 3 or 4, before we put these away. I'm curious to know more about them.
Yeah,
I think we should pull one before, one after, and one regular for every pull.
One before.
One after and one regular.
Okay, so then.
Let's get the
Oops, I'm messing them up.
Look at these shiny cards. All right. Who wants the very first inaugural before, after, and during poll? Who's going to get it? I think Lou deserves it.
Yeah.
Lou deserves the
Lou
inaugural before, during, and after poll. So let's find out what these tarot decks have to say about Lou DeFay today. Will she make her way to hay? Or will she say, no way? Let's find out. So I'll go first with the before. Now, what did I do with those cards? I just pulled out up here, right there. And Rachel, can you put down the after?
Sure.
Over here. I'll show you this part. This will be better for you to see things, these things than my face. Don't mind our mess.
We're still living in a college dorm.
Please excuse our mess. Our middle table is under construction. And one during card. Okay, I've shuffled it. You pick it. Oh, that's one picked itself, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the during. Your during card is called the Hanged Man. This is your during card, Lou.
So currently,
Could think of it as that. Before, ooh, the before deck produces the same card again.
Yeah.
Before
the
heartache.
Three of Hearts.
Before heartache, during a lull, and after the Four of Cups.
You're like, you got that cup and you're like, I don't care about it. I'm just pouring it out.
I got volatile out there wearing cups of water.
Yeah.
What's the Four of Cups about?
Meditation, consideration.
Oh. So after the Four of Cups, you're like, all right, after some consideration, I only need 3 cups. Oh, watering the garden.
Yeah, it could be watering the garden. You've reached out to the cup that's in the original deck that's holding its hand out to you. So you took that and you're watering the garden.
It's like slightly more concretized contemplation. You've just been contemplating. Now you're going to do something. You're not going to bother to stand up. That would be too much work. But since you can reach this one cup over here, you might as well just use this to water this patch of grass that's right next to you because you're so lazy.
Yeah.
So I would say, what it says, Lou, is right now for you is a hanged man situation. It's before heartbreak, which means you can still escape it. And it's after contemplation, but as per the Hanged Man, you didn't really start doing anything different. You didn't even stand up. So it's really a lot of Hanged Man energy here. Oh yeah, these go in different places. Don't gotta mix together. Okay. So there.
Choosing to ground the gift of love in the earth. That's a good way of looking at it.
This is for Ruben.
Okay, Ruben.
This is before it popped right out of this thinking about Ruben, so it must be for Ruben. Okay, what do you think? This one? Or this one?
I was originally thinking the top, but
Oh, let's go with the original stuff. I'm glad you didn't choose the bottom one because I didn't realize when I pulled it, I took that it was actually a twofer. Never take a twofer.
never take a twofer.
All right, Reuben's before. He's before the Queen of Wands.
It's like she's fixing her dress and
She's getting ready for her portrait or something?
yeah.
She's got a cat on her foot. But instead of playing with the cat, she seems to think the sunflower is a cat.
Yeah, she's looking at the sunflower like, wow.
She's scratching behind its ears. I think she's confused the sunflower for the cat.
Yeah.
So, Reuben, the message of this is don't get sunflowers and cats mixed up. You got a busy day sitting on your throne looking nice ahead of you, so get your act together.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, you get the 9 of Wands. Now, the 9 of Wands, I'm not sure what that one means.
It's the one where like the guy has a bandage over his head and he's leaning on a pole and there's 9 other poles lined up.
He's like, boy, I'm so tired of lining poles up.
Yeah. It's like after the battle is almost over.
Okay, so right now, you're tired of lining poles up. But you're before you get yourself all primped properly for the portrait. And you're after
Ooh la la.
strength.
And look, you've gotten so close to the line that you're actually hugging it.
Oh yeah, you're not just standing peacefully next to it. You're communing with the lion. Do you think maybe in this picture, lion represents Acacia?
I do.
And Reuben is that pretty girl?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Could be the other way around. Could be the other way around. Okay, so now Karma's pimp. After all that pimping of karma you've been doing, you deserve a well-earned before, during, and after reading. Karma's pimp. Here we go.
Karma's pimp.
It popped right out. So that's the one. And you want to pick one of these cards?
Twofer.
I wonder if Ludafe is going to update her understanding of twofers one day. Currently, she's a believer that twofers are okay.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
Karma's pimp, you are before strength. So look. Before strength, the lion's looking like maybe this lion's dangerous.
Yeah.
I've got my vagina wreath, but is that enough to protect me?
Yeah.
And during, you also got the hanged man.
Oh, hanged man. So you're in
a state of waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Why the infinity crown? Well, because she's got that on in all 3 strength cards.
Yeah. Yeah, she has the infinity crown for some reason. Because the infinity sound, it's like...
I mean, the greatest possible strength is infinity.
What number is strength?
8.
Yeah, and 8 looks like the infinity sign.
Oh, that's another good reason. And lastly, Karma's Pimp, you are after the Ace of Pentacles. You're like, oh my God, it's a new opportunity. Oh, it's just a bug.
What an interesting actor for that one.
So, the biggest strong you could be is infinity strong. That's why.
She wears the lemon skate in the Rider Waite too.
She wears a what?
That wreath? Is that what it is? She
I-
put the wreath over the lion?
No, I just never go anywhere without my crotch wreath. I like to draw attention to my crotch. Okay.
You're welcome, Karma's Pimp.
Winston's mom, you're next. Here's the before. Here's the during. And Rachel will give you an after. All right. You're before. You're before the Fool.
Ooh.
You couldn't think there was anything before the Fool, huh?
No, you're picking a flower, your dog's hanging out in the flowers too, kind of barking like, yay, this looks like it's saying, yay, this is fun.
I think the Fool just went out to get some roses for his bag, but he's such a fool that when the dog's like, hey, come over here, he just started following the dog.
Yeah, it could be.
You have still a chance to not follow the dog if you don't want it. You are during the 5 of Cups.
Crying over spilt milk.
Oh, this is an interesting picture for that concept.
Yeah.
Person holding a sad face.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if you just let this go, it won't be part of this picture.
Right.
And this one, the after. It's after the 8 of Sticks.
Yep.
What's that one mean? 8 of Sticks.
Speed.
Speed. So it's after speed. All right. So that means you're going to be sleepy, you're going to be hungry, maybe a little cranky. It's after speed.
Yeah.
So that's where you are right now in your cosmic hero's journey. Aries Flare 09, you are next. Let's find out. Lemniscate?
Oh, lemniscate is the infinity sign. Oh. I've never heard that word before.
It sounds like a class you could take, a product you buy that claims to teach you how to ice skate with subliminal messages. All right, let's find out what Aries is before. Aries Flare 9 is before strength. We got another strength. It's coming out a lot.
Wow, it is coming out a lot.
Before strength. So, what this card is telling you is never underestimate the power of a wreath. You are during death. You're during death right now.
Skeletor.
Being during death isn't so bad.
No, it just means a transformation.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Wait, this is you're after this. You're after the tower. Wow, let's look at that picture.
Wow.
Nothing good happened in the
No,
picture.
the place is shattered and the people are on the ground.
The apparent pending doom that was happening in the tower card was realized in full. So you got 3 majors. You got strength, death, and tower.
It's a pretty strong read.
Yeah, that's a lot of tarot pop right there.
It really is.
So good for you. At least after the tower card, you don't have to worry about falling anymore. You've already hit the ground.
You've already hit the ground. The change has already happened.
Sure, the tower might fall on top of you, according to the picture in the
Yeah.
photo, which probably won't help if it falls on top of you.
Okay, Eric's next.
Oh, Eric's next. Good. All right. I gotta do current first, during first. Then we'll do before. Oh, this one popped up. I guess it must be this one. Okay. And Rachel's gonna pull the after.
It popped out like that.
Okay. And this one popped out, Ace of Cups.
Ooh.
This is before the Ace of Cups.
So that's before, like, you get the sacrament. You got this fish floating above the cup. Maybe even coming from the cup.
In other words, you gotta solve your cup fish spout related problems before you can use the cup.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chaos in this particular cup right now. It needs to be straightened out. This is for me, this reading.
Yeah.
I'm during the Knight of Pentacles.
It's the slowest but steadiest and securest night.
No, I feel like it feels like me right now. And I'm after death. I am so after death right now. It's true. I'm just over death already. So 2023.
Does it look like that?
2022, I mean. No, in this case, it doesn't really look like it's after death. It looks like death's after some more people.
Oh, that could be. It does.
I mean, well, there's this lady crying over a dead kid. Understandably. But death is like, well, my work here is done. We're going to be moving on.
Yeah, gonna keep on moving on. Wait.
Oops, sorry.
It's okay.
I got to remember that. Now we're doing Rachel. Here we go. Oh, Karma's Pimp got a pull. You want some table crumbles?
Oh my god, that's what intuitive house looks like.
I mean, the thing is, most of our house does not look like these two tables. It's just, we do a good job of keeping this place pretty clean, pretty tidy.
Yeah.
I would not be embarrassed to have people walk in here even right now, except for just this little area.
It's like, we use it a lot.
Yeah, maybe the garage floor where there's cigarette butts. But it's not a shithole by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
This is not squalor.
Because we care.
We care.
Okay.
Now, Rachel, you need to just pull your own after card. All right, Rachel's before card.
Oh.
Before the 5 of Cups.
So I'm like I'm like, hey, kitty, you knocked over one of those cups.
And you're like, wait a second. Did I just hear a cup fall over? You fucking cat.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, you're during the Three of Wands. You're like, okay, I'm naked. I've got a magnifying glass. What did you want me to do? That never bodes well. um, your after strength.
That's so
We
good.
got to hug the kitty.
I got to hug the kitty. It's a pretty good pull. I like that. I like that story. These are fun. I really like them.
I like the before and after cards. A lot of people hugging the kitty.
The kitty is right by me right now. So he's being so sweet. I don't know what I did to deserve it.
Hugging the kitty is underworld talk for shooting a speedball, which is a mix of cocaine and heroin.
Oh.
No, nobody's ever referred to that as hugging the kitty. All right. Did we do Ruben yet?
We did do Ruben.
Okay. Let's do a collective.
Okay.
Collective. If anybody else wants one that hasn't got one, please say so and we'll do it. Okay. This is for the collective. There's a before. Here's a during. And there's an after.
Oh my gosh!
That fucking cop. And this is during the Knight of Cups.
He's like, hey babe, how you doing?
Hey girl, sup?
Yeah.
You like my skirt? Got a wild psychedelic pattern on it. All right. And collectively, you are after the Three of Cups.
Oh.
But note, you're still partying. You just have accidentally stepped on a pumpkin.
Oh no! Yeah. They're still partying.
They're still partying. But now that lady has pumpkin on her shoe.
That's a good collective.
That's for all of us.
That's a good collective reading. We're like, damn you, kitty, I knocked over that cup. And
before we're regretting the cup being knocked over, we're just mad at the cat.
Yeah.
So this is called the mad at the cat card.
Okay.
And then you realize, oh shit, now I'm really mad at the cat because it knocked over that whole cup. We're all currently just being like, hey girl, I'm just plain faced, just looking just ordinary. You can tell it's an important night on the town for me because I got on my gold arm bracelet, my regular bracelets, and my gold hat. Well, it's not really a hat so much as it is like a hat / scarf / bandana.
Yeah.
All right. Fun stuff.
And then we're also still like, yeah, we're still partying. Except there's pumpkins in the way.
Yeah. Well, you know what's going to happen after that. She's going to slip because she's still trying to dance even though there's pumpkin on the bottom of her feet. And at first, everyone's going to try to laugh it off because they're drunk and she's not really feeling the pain. Just like, oh, it's just a hurt little. And she realizes Actually, she fractured her hip.
Boba Fett wants an FU Polar Tarot. Just say it like it is without any BS. You're gonna die soon. Your partner's gonna shoot on you. Time to disown your kids. Okay.
Okay, fine. Let's give it two for you here. There's the before. Here's the do ring. Ooh, oh, really protruded. Are your thoughts really intrusive? Maybe they're protrusive. You are before the fool. There's still time not to follow the dog, Boba Fett. So, this time, unlike all the previous occasions, don't follow the dog.
Don't follow the dog.
You're during the Two of Cups. You and your pillow are having very special moments together. Don't underestimate the importance of that. I have a similar relationship with
Is
bread.
it a human pillow?
Oh, is it a person?
Yeah.
I thought it was a pillow.
It looks like a pillow, but it's a person.
Oh, it's a lady. She looks like you're hugging her, but it's like...
Hey, baby, don't leave.
Or maybe like... No, we have to keep your arms stabilized close to your body. Okay. Now, you're after the Three of Pentacles. After apprenticeship, you practiced making a statue.
Yeah.
And you made it. And now
Yeah.
you're looking at it and you're like, you know what? I was trying to chisel a statue of a horse, but this actually came out pretty good.
That is the Klimt deck, Luminix.
It's called the Shiny Duck. Okay? Here you go.
Thank you.
I'll put this one back. All right. Now let's do a 5-carder with 2 befores, 2 afters, and 1 in between for talking with famous people.
Okay.
Before.
2 before and 2 after.
Mm-hmm. And 1 in between. Because, you know, there's at least 2 times as much before and 2 times as much after as there is current. Way more than 2 times as much, really. Think about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You got blood on yourself?
Something. Maybe it's lipstick. I got on the cards a little bit. I'm just christening the cards.
Sure. Yeah. You don't have to worry about it. We're not playing poker with them. Marked cards won't do anybody any good.
Okay. I'm always like amazed by the tarot readers who could be like,
Well, yeah, you're a bit of a slowpoke McFullball.
oh my god.
Because I've already pulled all 3 of the ones out.
Shit, I'm sorry. Alright. That's one thought.
Well, don't try to rush it. Just let it happen naturally. I wasn't critiquing, just pointing out. You know, you take as much time as you want. You can't force the tarot. But you let it tell you what a card it is. All right. The befores for TWFP. We are before the 8 of Sticks.
Oh.
What's the 8 of Sticks?
Speed.
Yeah. What is that thing?
It looks like usually sticks have to do with like a lizards and stuff, so it's like a cloud of a lizard.
Oh, it's a cloud that looks like a lizard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're also before the Fool, like Boba
Wow,
Fett.
that's like what, the
Yeah.
third or fourth time
Yeah,
it's
it's
come
popped
up?
up a number of times. We're during the chariot. I love the feel of the wind on my naked body when I drive my chariot around. We are after temperance. Now, let me look at this card. If it's after temperance, why is he pouring his drink away?
Because it's pouring into, during is pouring into the same cups, but now the angel's giving some water to the bird, it looks like.
All right, giving water to the pond and bird to the air.
Yeah.
And we're also after Wheel of Fortune. What does after Wheel of Fortune look like? Well, I guess it's pointing that direction. There's a red fox looking devilly guy, a monkey, a sphinx, an angel, and maybe a phoenix.
Yeah, those represent the fixed signs of the zodiac. So Taurus, Leo, Scorpio.
That's all.
And like one other.
So in other words, go that way. Talking to Spanish people needs to go that way, where the arrow's pointing.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good read.
That's good. Good for me, good for you, good for us.
I think
good for
this
everyone.
after tarot for the Wheel of Fortune is a good sign.
Yeah, it
Moving
means
forward.
it means shit's not up to the fates.
Yeah.
That's good. This is an interesting chariot card. Because she's not even looking where she's going. She's got her eyes closed. And she's like, I've got so much sheen and body in my hair.
Oh, jelly.
Okay, well, I'm ready to put these away now.
Yeah.
Last chance for anybody who hasn't gotten a reading and wants one. Last chance for succotash. So this is before the moon? What a weird card.
So like that moon is like kind of spitting on the lobster.
It's spitting moon particles on, that's half lobster, half mole rat.
Yeah. Are there people?
And the dog and the wolf are looking. And then there's these two towers. Somebody could be looking out of the windows in these towers.
Yeah.
But you can't see anybody there.
No.
But it's possible. And here, right underneath it, before the sun. The sunbeam is making itself into a slip and slide so that the baby can just slide right onto the horse.
Yeah.
How convenient.
That is convenient.
Okay.
Yeah. He's like, he is sliding down the sun ray.
Mm. Before the devil.
Wow. Pretty nasty card. And those people have chains around their neck. Where in the during, it's around their leg or arm, something like that. Or maybe it is around their neck.
Well, look though. The girl's got it much tighter around her neck than the guy does.
Yeah.
That seems kind of unfair. And where are they looking exactly? They're looking up at the devil? He's got fire on his tail, and she's got fruit on her tail.
Yeah.
See that? So they named her Fruity Tail. This is the earlier part of the striptease.
Oh.
In this part of the striptease, she's playing, I'm coquettish with my jugs.
Yeah.
You can't see my jugs because of my jugs. And then finally, the bird pecks her in the eye, and she goes, ah, I'm spilling all the water out of my jugs.
Yeah.
Before the lovers. Now, this is the ultimate hey girl card. Hey girl, you want me to help you stand up
Oh,
from
yeah.
that tree?
Oh my gosh, it is such a hey girl thing.
Sup? There's like a tree that has, I don't even know what those things are on that tree. What are these things on this tree?
Fire.
Oh. And the other tree has apples on it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the Garden of Eden.
Hmm. Did they not have sex before they got in trouble or something?
I guess.
Before the Ten of Cups. This is a very interesting card.
That is interesting. It's raining.
Yeah. All the families running to try to get back in the house.
So, like, that's not necessarily, like, the most positive card as it is shown during.
Right. I guess the message is what brings family together sometimes are shared experiences, good and bad. And before the Two of Cups, before he starts getting these things juggling properly, he just tosses this whole contraption up into the air.
Yeah. So it's like super balance. He's like a pizza pie like maker.
And there's a ship sailing away. Exactly what I thought too. It's like a pizza maker. Looks like he's making a dough.
Whoa. Look at this. The after is like a mended broken heart.
Mm.
Or, you know, at least a bandaged.
Yeah. And there's blood on the bandage though. So
yeah.
you can still see it, you know. Ouch, she's right. How is this one before the Three of Cups? This looks like they're already made a mess. Where they're still squeezing grapes.
Yeah.
It's like, I hate to tell you, ladies, just squeezing grapes into a cup is not a way to make wine.
It's not. Oh, sure, I'll watch you eat.
Yes, you are welcome here, Aries Fire 09. You are welcome. Alright, so now I'm going to put the Before Tarot back in the Before Tarot box. Now, the thing is, what we didn't do, well, I'm sure we'll do next time, now that I've thought of it, if we remember, is read out of the little book that comes with it. Each of these has a little book that comes with it. We could have read out of those little books, but...
Those might tell like a story too.
Right, but I will save that for next time. I forgot about the little books until I was putting them away. Okay, well those are fun. I like those tarot decks. I'm glad we got those, Rachel.
Me too. Thanks for getting them with me.
Of course. I'm going to go outside and smoke a cigarette now. But I'd like to get a beverage to take with me to the outside area. What deck was the last one with the girls? You mean the During deck? That's called the Shiny deck. It's all gold and shiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lou knows what it's called. She just said what the name of it was before. Like Clint or something.
Yeah, Clint's deck.
Clint's deck. It's actually represented a real departure for Clint Eastwood. Prior to that, he had mostly been more into like a Western kind of a vibe, but Clint Eastwood said, I am going to show you my range. I'm making a tarot deck, and that's the one he made. Oh, I did get a drink. I just don't have an opener. So what I need is a lighter. Are you going to make me a solid tea? She didn't hear me. I'll just find out rather than ask. Okay, this is unacceptable. Well, it's been an interesting stream. Started off kind of introspective, proceeded to tarot play around, and that seems to be denouement back into introspection as I stood there in silence for some stretch, smoking my cigarette. I think perhaps a good closing topic is tomorrow's very important college football schedule. Oregon is playing Washington. Both of them are undefeated. Both of them are top 10. Both in the top two or three offenses in the country. Oregon's favored, despite Washington being ranked higher, but they're only favored by 3.5 points. So a little surprising they're favored considering they're ranked lower and it's at Washington. But I get it. People are accustomed to Washington being pretenders and Oregon being for real. Interestingly, I heard a number of commentators saying that the winner of this game is going to win the Pac 12. In other words, that USC is the third best team in the Pac 12. You're saying that about USC with Mario Williams. I'm sorry, Caleb Williams. Mario Williams is their wideout. He sometimes throws too. Caleb Williams, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, and what NFL scouts agree is like the best quarterback draft possibility they've ever seen. There is way too much underweighting of USC's talent and ability right now because the defense hasn't looked great all year. But it's not the same fuck everything up defense that we had last year. It's substantially better. The offense is also better. Our defense only needed to be a little bit better for us to do better than last year. The only reason we didn't win the conference championship game last year and thereby didn't make the college football playoff was because Utah injured Caleb Williams in the first quarter of that game. Maybe it was the second quarter. I tell you who's going to win the Pac-12. USC. That's who's going to win the Pac-12. Why? Because it's the most talented team, top to bottom, of the three. I mean, jury's out a little bit on Oregon. Oregon definitely has a better defense than we have. I'm not sure Washington does, really. And Oregon definitely has a high-flying offense, but I don't think the best defense in the country can stop USC's offense when it's clicking. Oh, I'll play a song or two, sure. That sounds pleasant enough. Every life lived reaches a time when the road splits in two. grim times, dark times, times of despair, times when it's hard to feel good. That's when I look for my sack full of solvency and a hatchet of helpful goods. Statue of helpful goods. Statue of helpful goods. It's not a statue, Eric. It's a satchel. Alright, I'll play a different song then since I fucked that one up. You only go poo once every 3 months, show media? That's way too infrequently. When I was younger, it seemed that everything gleamed. I don't know what happened to me, but I've lost that sense of urgency, and I don't think that I'll ever see it again. If you follow my lead, you'll discover I'm loster than you. And you'll want to know the way to get back at to wherever it was you thought you knew. And tomorrow will be just like today. I'll be lost then too. It's a matter of mood as much as a matter of will. And the things I do and the direction I point to still seem a part of me, though departedly. And I wonder if I'll ever see them again. Bum-ba-dee-da-ba-dee-da-dee-doo, ba-ba-dee-ba-da-da-doo. Ba-ba-dee-da-ba-da-da-da-da, ba-ba-dee-da-da-da. You'd be nervous to do what? To come to our party? Why would you be nervous to come to our party? Are you afraid that I'm going to Me Too you? I won't, I promise. Gerald has a thought. Gerald has a lot. Gerald has a plot to get to Marjorie's tasty spots. He's got a good idea for a name-changing business. Thinking now about what to call Christmas when they hire his firm to change that name. Gerald always thought there'd be chance enough to return to the worker left rough. You come back to it eventually, and the visions piled up, but his plans would interrupt all the work that started off so hopefully. Now his mind is back on his business, thinking of changing factless to listless. Oh, how all the people will shout his name. And Gerald knows he understands ever more clearly now He won't provide explanation regarding the why or the how. He'll see you and know you from inside your heart. Exciting, delighting, Gerald plays his part. And Gerald's telling you there's too much to do. And he had dropped time on the underview. Too much to do, but so where now and what? Too much time spent nitpicking the skew with you. Now Gerald has a thought. Gerald has a lot. And Gerald has a plot to get the margarine tater tots. He's got a good idea for a name-changing business. Thinking now about what to call Christmas when they hire his firm to change that name. Gerald has a thought. Oh, you're talking about the aunt that I baptized and converted into Christianity? I'd forgotten about that. I just did it in passing, but I guess people have heard about it. The news gotten around. I didn't know the aunt was still alive. I mean, I figured probably because, after all, Christians live longer, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, I am so humble. That's my biggest problem in life. I'm just too humble. Well, some might call me a rambling man, 'cause I do a lot of them and I kicking games, but it won't do an answer good to call me names. My daddy was a Willie Woodrow. I wasn't born and raised in no ghetto, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I'm gonna find me a wealthy woman in a line of work that don't take no diploma, 'cause I ain't got much to lose and a loss to gain. You might call me a good time fella, but I ain't no black and I ain't no yellow, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, don't want any part, anything they giving. I'm proud and white and got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get along, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Long time boy, been around a little, and I like guitar and I like the fiddle, 'cause that's the kind of soul to defend my flame. You out there feared and ready, I got to work just to be somebody. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they giving. I'm proud and white and got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Well, I said a few things and I admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. That's a snappy little number, huh? made it. Good God, I nearly made it. And that's it. We got 15 hours till done. And good God, it never takes this long. That's one of Corey's songs that I just butchered. But I'm not going to take guitar lessons. It's a good song, right? You can tell. I only know a little bit of it, but you can tell it's a good song. You're not going to sit in awkward silence. You're going to be doing lines of speed off of the kitchen table. There probably really won't be any of that, but we're going to treat you like the Mexican waiters do in Rosarita and put alcohol in your mouth and go like this and shake your face around. I don't know if you've ever had that done to you before, but licks, huh? Going to the loaf, up mountain, going to the loaf, far from the city below. Going to the loaf, up mountain, going to the loaf, far from the city below. On a mountain, sunshine on the trees, right by the Boca City. Mountain sunshine on the trees. Mountain sunshine on the trees. Far above the Smoky City. Mountain sunshine on the trees. Going to the loaf. Up mountain, going to the loaf. Far from the city below. Going to the loaf, up mountain, going to the loaf, driving those windy roads, mountain sunshine on the trees, far above the Smoky City, mountain sunshine on those trees, mountain sunshine on the trees. And the loaf. Well, not a very good song to end on, but it'll have to do. I don't know any other songs. I can never remember to play these songs. Oh, I can play this song. El Niño, my ass. You call those storms. Where is the rain? Those drizzles don't count. I drizzle more as I pee in the sink. which is just the right height to catch all of the undesired splatter. And when I'm done, I'll go upstairs and climb a ladder. Yeah, I will go out there and take me a bucket and pour water inside. And I'll say, hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom. Hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom. Hey, Mr. Cloud, drop it from the bottom on me. That's a little bit better way to end than below. So I'll end it there. Thanks a lot for being here, everybody. I loves you all. And I want you to know that everything's going to be just fine. All right? Everything's going to be just fine. And I'll see you at the movies.